Hello guys, welcome to the Cycle of Life with TES podcast, where we say no to vices and yes to change from inside out. I'm your host Atiba Teslim, and on today's episode let's talk about something amazing. The invisible wounds of self-harm. A profound exploration of the hidden struggles, emotional turmoil, and the quest for healing. Self-harm. A term that conjures up images of visible wounds and scars, but what about the invisible wounds that lie beneath the surface? The emotional pain, the mental anguish, and the spiritual distress that can lead to self-harm are often hidden from view, making it a deeply personal and isolating experience. In this comprehensive essay, we will delve into the invisible wounds of self-harm, exploring the complex emotions, experiences, and societal factors that contribute to this behavior, and the arduous journey towards healing and recovery. The invisible wounds of self-harm. Understanding the complexity. Self-harm is often perceived as a physical act, a manifestation of emotional pain that is etched onto the body. However, the wounds that lead to self-harm are often invisible, hidden from view, and deeply personal. These wounds can take many forms, from the emotional scars of trauma and abuse to the mental anguish of anxiety and depression. They can be the result of societal pressures, expectations, and norms that lead to feelings of inadequacy, low self-esteem, and self-doubt. The emotional pain that leads to self-harm can be overwhelming, a constant reminder of the individual's perceived shortcomings and failures. This pain can be so intense that it becomes unbearable, leading to a desperate attempt to numb the feelings, to escape the emotional turmoil, and to find solace in a world that feels unforgiving. The role of trauma and adversity. Trauma and adversity play a significant role in the development of invisible wounds that can lead to self-harm. The emotional scars of traumatic experiences can linger, causing long-term damage to an individual's mental health and well-being. The trauma can be a result of physical or emotional abuse, neglect, or significant loss, leading to feelings of vulnerability, powerlessness, and hopelessness. Moreover, societal pressures and expectations can exacerbate the emotional pain, leading to feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem. The constant bombardment of unrealistic beauty standards, the pressure to succeed, and the expectation to conform to societal norms can create a sense of disconnection, leading to self-doubt and self-blame. The quest for healing and recovery. Healing from the invisible wounds of self-harm is a complex and arduous journey. It requires a deep understanding of the underlying emotions, experiences, and societal factors that contribute to this behavior. The journey towards healing involves confronting the emotional pain, addressing the underlying trauma and adversity, and developing coping mechanisms to manage the emotional turmoil. Therapy, support groups, and self-care practices can offer a sense of safety, security, and connection, allowing individuals to confront their emotions and begin the healing process. The journey is not easy, but with compassion, empathy, and understanding, individuals can begin to heal, to mend the emotional scars that have been holding them back, and to find a sense of peace and tranquility that can be incredibly liberating. Conclusion. The invisible wounds of self-harm are complex, multifaceted, and deeply personal. They require a nuanced and compassionate approach, one that acknowledges the depth of emotional pain and the need for healing. By understanding the complexity of self-harm, addressing the underlying trauma and adversity, and developing coping mechanisms to manage the emotional turmoil, individuals can begin to heal, to mend the emotional scars that have been holding them back, and to find a sense of peace and tranquility that can be incredibly liberating. The journey is not easy, but with persistence, patience, and compassion, individuals can overcome the invisible wounds of self-harm, and find a path towards healing, recovery, and redemption. Delving deeper into the wounds. The invisible wounds of self-harm are. The shame and guilt can be so intense that they manifest physically, causing feelings of numbness, disconnection, and emotional pain. This toxic duo can also lead to self-destructive behaviors, as individuals may try to punish themselves for their perceived wrongdoings. The anxiety can become so intense that it leads to hypervigilance, causing individuals to be constantly on edge, waiting for the next disaster to strike. This state of hyperarousal can lead to emotional exhaustion, making it difficult for individuals to cope with everyday life. Healing from self-harm requires a compassionate and nuanced approach, one that acknowledges the depth of emotional pain and the need for healing. With patience, persistence, and support, individuals can begin to heal, to mend the emotional scars that have been holding them back, and to find a sense of peace and tranquility that can be incredibly liberating. So now let's talk about the echoes in the dark, that is the voices that pushes most people into harming themselves in whatever way they find. The echoes in the dark. A profound exploration of the haunting voices and shadows that fuel self-harm. In the depths of our minds, there exist echoes of past experiences, emotions, and thoughts that continue to haunt us. These echoes can be so loud and overwhelming that they lead to self-harm, a desperate attempt to silence the voices and calm the emotional turmoil. In this comprehensive essay, we will delve into the echoes in the dark, exploring the complex emotions, experiences, and societal factors that contribute to self-harm. The shadows of trauma. Trauma is a significant contributor to the echoes in the dark. The emotional scars of traumatic experiences can linger, causing long-term damage to an individual's mental health and well-being. The shadows of trauma can manifest as flashbacks, nightmares, and anxiety, making it difficult for individuals to cope with everyday life. The echoes of trauma can be so loud that they lead to self-blame, self-doubt, and self-loathing. Individuals may feel like they are trapped in a never-ending cycle of pain, with no escape from the haunting voices and shadows of their past. The whispers of negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is a pervasive echo in the dark, a constant companion for many individuals. The whispers of self-doubt, self-blame, and self-loathing can be so loud that they lead to self-harm, a desperate attempt to silence the voices and calm the emotional turmoil. Negative self-talk can arise from past experiences, societal expectations, and perceived shortcomings. It can be so ingrained that individuals may not even realize they are engaging in this destructive behavior. The silence of societal expectations. Societal expectations can be a significant contributor to the echoes in the dark. The pressure to conform to societal norms, the expectation to succeed, and the demand to be perfect can lead to feelings of inadequacy, low self-esteem, and self-doubt. The silence of societal expectations can be deafening, leading individuals to feel like they are alone in their struggles. The fear of not meeting expectations can be overwhelming, causing individuals to turn to self-harm as a way to cope with the emotional pain. Conclusion. The echoes in the dark are a complex web of emotions, experiences, and societal factors that contribute to self-harm. By exploring the shadows of trauma, the whispers of negative self-talk, and the silence of societal expectations, we can gain a profound understanding of the haunting voices and shadows that fuel self-harm. Healing from self-harm requires a compassionate and nuanced approach, one that acknowledges the depth of emotional pain and the need for healing. With patience, persistence, and support, individuals can begin to silence the echoes in the dark, to calm the emotional turmoil, and to find a sense of peace and tranquility that can be incredibly liberating. Thanks for listening to The Cycle of Life with TES podcast, where we say no to vices and yes to change from inside out.